Hey everyone, if you're a woodworker, I'm pretty sure that you'll find today's video very useful. If you're a woodworker like me, I'm pretty sure you know what this machine is, the Harbor Freight dust collector. As far as I know, every woodworker has either had or has some version or iteration of this machine. Its low cost and small footprint make it a great addition to a small shop like mine, where space is really limited. However, it does have one real drawback, and that would be the plastic bag that is used to collect all of the sawdust and chips. What I've found is that it's a real pain in the butt to try to change this bag. As we all probably know, whoever has this machine, we all dread, I'm pretty sure we all dread changing this bag. I know I do. It can take up to, 15 minutes sometimes just trying to get this bag perfectly lined up and then clamped and not have any pleats in the plastic where, the air is gonna blow out and blow really fine dust into the room. It's really a pain. So today's video is all about getting rid of this bag and putting in a steel barrel, a 55-gallon steel barrel, to take its place and eliminate that problem of having to change the bag. So let me show you what I've got planned for this. Okay, so my plan is to take this 55-gallon steel drum with a removable top and replace the bag that's here. I'm going to take the supports off that's on the machine. I will create a new base that's a little larger to accommodate the size of the 55-gallon drum. So I'm going to mount this part of the machine to the top of this lid so that they are one. And the benefit of the drum and what makes it so easy is that this band clamp is what holds the top on, and the lid is removable. So this part will be attached here, and all I have to do to empty the drum is just unclamp it, take this off, and go dump the dust out of the drum. And then just simply put it back on and, reclamp it. And that's all that there is to it. It's really simple. In case you're wondering where I picked up this drum, I got it off of Facebook Marketplace. There's industrial places near me, and they're selling them all the time because they get their product in their shipping containers, and they get their product shipped in here, and then they have nothing to do with these drums, and they sell them, really cheap. I got this for 35 bucks, and it's a fantastic addition to this machine. So I also picked up a plastic barrel just to show you. I know a lot of guys out there have been toying around with putting a plastic barrel underneath there. The reason I chose the steel drum is because I want the removable lid. I don't want to have to make some kind of makeshift top with wood clamps and stuff like that to try to adapt this piece to the lid. This is already done for me, so all I have to do is just attach it to here. Simply, I'm going to weld mine on top of it. There's another method that I will show later on as well if you don't have a welder. So there's actually two ways to do this, and the plastic drum doesn't allow you to do that, and I will show you what that looks like. So this is the plastic drum with the same clamping top. However, the top, because it's plastic, is very formed. It has a lot of these grooves and stuff to make the lid a lot more firm, let's say, so it doesn't deform and stuff like that. But it makes it extremely difficult to try to mount this upper part onto here because you don't have the surface to do it. So I just eliminated this idea and decided to go with the steel drum. It's also, the steel drum's a lot more durable, so it will last a lot longer than the plastic, and it just makes it much easier. All right, so with that being said, let me take this apart, and then I will once I have this piece off, then you'll really get to see what it is that I'm getting at, in case it didn't come across in how I described it. So, all right, so let me go do that. Okay, so this is just a mock-up of what it will look like. I've removed all of the parts from the original bag and the supports that hold up this part as well. I've put back the bolts into the top just to seal up the holes, and yeah, so this is basically what it will look like. And now I'm going to take this over to my bench and I will show you how I will cut the hole out of the lid and how you can fix this piece to the lid. So let me show you that. All right, so we're over at the bench now, and I've mounted the upper part onto the lid, and I tried to space it pretty evenly all the way around. The part from Harbor Freight itself is not very concentric, so it's kind of a little irregular, but this will do fine. So now what I'm going to do is take a Sharpie, and from the inside I'm going to trace out the edge so that I know what I have to cut out. And then after that, I'll drill a hole in the top and use a jigsaw with a metal blade to cut out the hole for it. Okay, let's see if that worked. Yeah, that worked pretty good. All right, so what I'll do next is I'll take a big drill bit, just drill out a hole, and I'm also gonna cut this. I'm not gonna cut it on the line. I'm gonna leave, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch from the line. I'd like to have a little more metal, you know, on the inside to give it a little more rigidity. And yeah, so let me go ahead and do that and show you how that goes. All right, so this is what it looks like with the center cut out of the top. And it was a little tricky to cut because it's a little thin. And full disclosure, I ended up having to, as you saw, flip it over and remark it on the bottom side. And I had to cut it from the bottom side because the jigsaw wouldn't make the turn in here. It was stuck inside of the frame, so I couldn't cut it from the top. So now let me show you. Like I said, I'm gonna weld mine to the top, and I have a welder and I can weld, so you know, for me it's just a lot easier to do it that way. But if you don't have that, the easiest way to mount it is to use these right angle clips. And you can simply just put that around the perimeter like so. You'll need multiple of them, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 or so, something like that. The frame is really flimsy and it moves quite easily. So it would be, you know, best to put at least 8 or 10 of these around the edge and simply just bolt them in place. And then once you've done that, what I intend to do is to go around, even for myself, I'm not gonna weld the entire piece and, you know, all the way around. I'm just gonna put spot welds in place of these brackets. And then I'm gonna use a PL type glue to seal and also hold it, you know, in between the welds, or as you would use the brackets, and that will securely seal it and have it firmly in place so that it won't move. So, okay, let me go ahead now and I'm gonna prep this for my welding. I'm not gonna show the welding. This is not a welding channel, so you know, I don't think you're interested in seeing that. But I'll show you what it looks like after I've tacked it in place. All right, everyone, so I just wanted you to see what it looks like after I have tacked the top to the lid. As you can see, I've got multiple tacks going all the way around, and it's really firmly in place, really rigid, which is what you want. And I also want to note that I sanded off the paint that was on the lid and the powder. I think this is powder coating that's on the top part of the machine, so that, you know, so that I could weld it. I also did it because when I apply the glue and sealant to it, I want it to stick to the metal. I don't want it to adhere to the paint. I don't know if it'll give it a really good bond. So I just wanted to note that if you do decide to do this, you should do the same. Take off the paint to make sure that you have bare metal so that the glue will stick very well to it and you won't have any issues with bonding. All right, so that's that. Let me go ahead now and I'll show you how I apply the glue. Okay, so this is after I've spread the glue sealant all the way around, and I spread it with my finger to really get it in there and nice and smooth, as you can see. So this takes an hour to, flash dry, 24-hour cure. So once this is dry, I will put it back together, the hose, and put the top bag back on it and test it out, see how it goes. So stay tuned. All right, so here it is, all put back together. And I really like how this one turned out. I wish I had done it sooner, but I couldn't find a 55-gallon drum with the flat lid nearby. So I will probably paint this eventually. I didn't do it right now. This drum contained petroleum jelly, and there's a lot of residue in like the seams and other areas that make it a little difficult to get it out. I will eventually paint this, so you'll probably see that done in another video if you see a shot of the dust collector. But for now, it's going to stay the way that it is, and it works really well. I also wanted to note that the addition of the 55-gallon drum is a huge upgrade over the stock bag. That bag, I think, is only about 40 gallons, and that's if that. And the reason I say that is because I use contractor bags to dump them into, and a contractor bag is about 42 gallons. And every time I would dump it in there, I would leave about this much from the top of my bag so that I could, take it out of the machine and have an easier time to change it. So it wasn't completely full. And when I would dump it into a contractor bag, it would leave a lot of room left in that bag. So if I had to guess, I would say that that bag is only holding about 35 gallons of capacity, which is, really nothing. And I know I could fill that bag in like an hour if I'm doing a lot of heavy planing, which I do often on solid material. So this at 55, I'm gaining 20 gallons of capacity. And it's a huge, huge upgrade for me. So I'm looking forward to, not having to change it as often and make my life a little less hectic. But again, to change this only takes about 5 minutes. It's really, really simple. And I know I've done away with the supports that hold this top up once you change it, but I took the strap that was originally there and I made a little hook. I have hooks in the ceiling. So when I do undo this, I just simply lift it up, hang it on the hook, and I can slide the barrel out and have no problem changing it. So it should be really simple. So the next upgrade for this machine is going to be to get the cartridge air filter for the top. I've been milking it for a long time, and the fine dust particles that are coming off from this are getting to be a nuisance. So that's coming next. I've already upgraded the impeller on this machine. It has the larger impeller, and that made a tremendous difference in suction. The only thing left, like I said, is to get the cartridge air filter, and that's coming soon. I also decided not to change the base on it. I felt that it was fine the way that it was. The barrel overhangs as much as the bag did, so it really didn't bother me. I have a tight little space here, and making a larger platform for it just didn't really matter to me. So I think it was good just the way that it is. And I like the low profile as well of this base. Mine would have been a little bit taller had I made it, and that wouldn't have been too good. So that wraps it up for this one. I hope you guys found it useful. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.